All right, Blake Tanner. I think I've done it. I think I've cracked the way to get the viewers, to get the listeners, and defeat the podcast Illuminati once and for all.
Okay, what you got for this one?
I think to defeat it, like a great movie, we must sacrifice something to gain infinite gold and wisdom. We must sacrifice a part of ourselves. And
Like a movie.
I've seen a lot of podcasts that have sacrificed mostly the worst idea of all time podcast, where they sacrifice a year of their time watching shit movies literally every week. So Grown Ups 2 once a week for a year, Sex and the City 2 once a week for every year. But I think we can one up them, Blake. I think we can one up them by doing a bad movie every day for 7 days.
Oh. No.
But wait, Blake, I had this great idea. We were gonna do Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector.
Oh, no.
No, Blake, it's okay. It's just
I've told you I've seen some of that movie before, haven't I?
Blake,
It's bad.
Blake, I've already watched it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What the fuck?
I'm really...
So welcome to a load of BS, ladies and gentlemen. This one's gonna be like a weird diary of, I guess, just my mental state over these next 7 days as I watch Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector. And here's what I think. I'm joined as always by Blake Tanner.
Hey, how's it going?
And I am Scotty Moore. But here's what I'm thinking, Blake. I have never come close to thinking that you were going to flat out quit the show than when I was adamantly trying to get you to watch this movie. And so instead, I made you...
If it helps, I had never been so much to the point where I knew that I wasn't going to do something for the show.
So here's the thing. I think I'm doing it for the next 7 days. I've dedicated it. I've got it marked in my calendar. But you don't. So it's now my goal to get you there to a point where you're going to want to watch Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector. So I'm just gonna, since this is episodic, so we will not have a lot of time, I'm gonna set a 10-minute timer, and I'll just we can just discuss my experience watching this movie today. So it opens, and within approximately 5 seconds, there is a shot of Larry. No, wait, hold on. I have to convince you, so I should not talk about
No, please, go on. Tell me what you were talking about.
Well, there is a shot of Larry's ass, and then a shot of Larry peeing in the shower, but here's the thing, and I think you have this same talent that I do, and it's when you live in the South long enough, it's almost like earmuffs go on when a bunch of dumb fart jokes happen, and that shit happens, and it just phases you out of existence. Because, Blake, there's a lot of farting in this movie.
You're trying to get me to watch it, right?
No, right now we're just discussing my experience. I'm gonna give you good moments, but right now I just need to express to you the violent amount of farting in this movie.
Like, I can understand, I can ignore a fair amount of that kind of stuff in any movie, because a lot of comedy movies, you'll be surprised just how often they go to the fart well.
Yes. This one made me realize something, though. Have you ever seen a movie that has good fart foley? Because this one goes straight to the keychain you get at a gift shop and makes a fart noise, and you hide it in your boss's desk or something. Fart noises. Have you ever heard a good fart foley?
No, I haven't.
Also, Fart Foley is my favorite pro wrestler from the 90s.
Oh, Fart Foley is his son.
Please. Mr. Foley was my father. Call me Fart. Now I will, here's my first positive moment, and it was the fact that I had 8 genuine laughs in this film.
Okay. You've gone full, like, We didn't even base this so much off of the worst idea of all time. It was more
Till death do us, Blart. Look, Blake, you're cutting into my 10 minutes now. But I did have
I know.
I had 8 real laughs, and I'll give you a few of my favorites. There is a wheel-bound wheelchair-bound character, or wheel-bound character, I guess. And his entire character is to be a dick to Larry. Like, he's one of the guys who I guess the filmmakers made him up, but he's really mad if anyone tries to help him, because he's just like, oh, you're just giving me sympathy because I'm in a wheelchair. Eventually, you learn that he's not crippled, by the way, and it's really weird of a character choice.
So he sits in a wheelchair in hopes of people insulting him or, like, treating him differently because he's in a wheelchair.
Well,
and then he just does it for all of that moment to where he finally stands up and says, no, I was not wheelchair.
Well, no, there was... No, I was not wheelchair. Well, no, it's actually inferred in the movie that he got a, what's it called? When you get better at job. Promotion. Dude, it's late, and I watched Larry the Cable Guy today. It's inferred that he got a promotion because he's in a wheelchair, and Larry didn't. So, yeah. But one of my favorite lines does come from Larry, because Larry's asking this guy to help him get reservations at a fancy restaurant to take out his girlfriend, not girlfriend, like girl he just started dating. And he looks up at him, and the man in the wheelchair, who, I'm not gonna lie, has been the butt of jokes, goes, look, Larry, I'm not a miracle worker. Well, if you were, you'd been up in that wheelchair a few weeks ago and done kicked my ass.
At least that's a little bit self-deprecating.
Oh, no. Here's the thing that shocked me, because, like, we based this show off of Worst Idea Until Death Do Us Blart, where the main characters of Grown Ups 2 and Death Blart, they're kind of garbage people.
Uh-huh.
Larry the Cable Guy ain't that bad. In this movie, he's probably the most likable character, and it upset me that I realized that.
Now, this is also at the same time when you said there was a lot of weird transphobic shit in this.
Okay. The writing is transphobic, the character is not. And I don't even know if it's transphobia. Essentially, what it is Larry is assigned a partner because for some reason this movie about health inspection is making fun of 80s cop movie tropes, down to the fact where the chief of health inspection, who is played by Biff Tannen from Back to the fucking Future, never is not angry. There's never a scene where he's not like, Larry! Like, he's so angry. But he decides to give Larry a partner who is this kind of uptight, very by-the-books health inspector lady, but she has her hair pulled back and she has boyish features. So for, I swear to God, the most of the movie, Larry thinks that she's a guy and refers to her as such. So I don't know if that's transphobic or not.
I wouldn't call it that. I would just call it, like, weird.
I don't want to spoil it, but I will say there's a very sweet moment at the end where Larry refers to her as a girl, and it's such a sweet moment that it's kind of gross. That I was taken in so deeply that I was like, yeah, this is a genuine moment between two human beings where so yeah, that's where the transphobia. I did write down a warning for everyone else. I just want you here because I need an army buddy. I need an army brother here going through this for me. But my warning is, if you're gay, trans, a woman, black, with or knowing somebody who has a mental health disorder, a health inspector, mayor of a city, a hamster, a dog, a Kmart manager, sober, don't watch this film.
God, that's a list.
That is a list. Let's go back to some of my genuine laughs, because the ending of the movie is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. because Larry has been, like, dating this girl on and off. I guess just on. Like, there's no off, really, in the movie. And at the end, they finally kiss, as is the trope in most movies. And then, like, they're leaning in to get it dirtier. And then for some reason, Larry gets a call about, like, there's another health inspection violation somewhere. And he's like, he literally does, like, the fucking Michael Caine at the end of Dark Knight. Is it Michael Caine or is it, Gary Oldman who does he's not what the city wanted, it's what the city...
It's Gary Oldman.
Yeah, it's fucking Larry the Cable Guy, just like, I'm the Knight, I am health inspector man. But then she's just like, well, you go do that, and then when you come back, I'm gonna have a real surprise for you. And then Larry turns facing the camera for the first time, breaks the fourth wall, and just goes, get her done! I broke.
Fuck. The surprise is actually a pregnancy test.
Yes. No, there's no way they boned before this. The only somewhat sexual connection between them is when Larry has a dream where he's promoted at work, and for some reason his office has a deer head that talks to him, accuses him of being queer, then he gets a fishing pole to go hang out with Kid Rock and go fishing, and then she shows up scantily clad.
Scotty, could I really quickly read this critic review that I found?
Yes.
In this grossed out comedy, Larry bounces from fat joke to fart joke to gay joke to disabled joke to sexist joke and back again.
I will say, not that many fat jokes. As someone who a fat joke would hit, not that many fat jokes in this. Now, I mean, I
will say Larry is not at his fattest in this movie.
Also, the end credits are actually pretty charming, and Larry almost kisses Bruce, which was very good to me. If you want some real quotes from the film, because it's getting to the end of my 10 minutes, "The deer makes a good point," is a quote from Kid Rock. Also, no, wait, hold on. I'm not telling you to watch it because it's good, but I did tell you can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Here's the best thing about this. The YouTube algorithm apparently doesn't give a fuck that they have the entire movie posted, but the music the movie uses is cut out. But
that's good.
Gets better. I didn't know YouTube does this, but the sound effects are still intact. So there are these numerous scenes of, like, Larry walking through a mall. That was the 10 minutes, but I have to finish this. Larry walking through a mall to complete silence. And, like, you've seen the, like, music videos without music, where it's just, like, quiet noises in the background and people sniffling. It's that, but in Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector. So it's not because the movie's good, it's because it's so buck wildly weird because of what YouTube's done to it that I propose you should watch this movie. So end of day 1, Blake. Have I accomplished my mission? Are you gonna join me for these next 6 days?
No, but...
Okay.
I can tell you that you'll have a much easier time in the next 10 minutes because I am at the point in my sobriety that I've forgotten half of what we talked about, and I love that.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Well, then I guess we'll see everyone back here for day 2.
Yep. I will say, you've got a 50-50 shot from day 1 to day 2.
Fuck yes, awesome.
Get her done.
So welcome to day 2, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy.
So, you've actually subjected yourself to watching this movie twice now, I assume.
Well, not just myself, but my family as well. Including my girlfriend who, after the mother of my child, who sat down and during the first fart went, "Alright, I gotta go pick up CJ, y'all have fun," and just left the home. Like, no more.
I'm so glad that she has understood how to deal with your shit at this point.
I also will say I did have to watch this movie in 2 parts the first 45 before a Thanksgiving dinner and the next 45 after, and it made for a very bizarre experience.
God, we are actually recording day 2 on Thanksgiving, so...
We are. This is the and you know what I give thanks for, Blake.
I know what I give thanks for.
And it's Larry the Cable Guy, Health Inspector.
Yep, and it's not watching Larry the Cable Guy, Health Inspector.
Alright, but it's time for me to try to get you... I mean, it's only 5 days in a row you would have to watch it now. You've skipped the first 2. And I don't think that's that bad, so let's start the timer now of me trying to get you in on this train.
How many minutes long is the movie again, by the way?
It's a little under 90 minutes. It's probably around like 84, 86 minutes. So It's not that bad. So, yeah, let's start with that. Let's start with some logistics. It's not the longest movie. It's not a Lord of the Rings epic saga you gotta crank into.
Uh-huh.
It's just a short little ordeal. And now today, I want to focus on the behind-the-scenes research that I've done on this film, Blake, because we've unearthed some great things today.
Okay, please, enlighten me.
So, well, firstly, there is a hand in Larry's office, and it's an inflatable hand that he's taped one of the fingers down to do the shocker. Due to some crack research me and my team have worked on, we have established that it was a John Cena Doctor of Thugonomics hand that you could do the You Can't See Me with.
And what did this research entail?
It entailed... Pause the movie. Oh man, the YouTube quality is pretty grainy. Which, oh, hold on, we need to talk about the YouTube thing after this, but that does look like it says Jaw, nah, and there's letters in the middle we can't quite make out. Hold on, John Cena inflatable hand, looked it up. That's the same fucking hand, it's right here.
So was it you, your dad, or your mom that noticed it first?
It was me. It was me, because I saw the hand, and then I saw
because when you said crack team, I'm like, okay.
It's me, Mom. Which, by the way, this may not surprise you. Mom was pretty silent and on her cell phone the whole time. Dad enjoyed the fuck out of the flick. Dad really...
Not surprised at all.
There was a moment where he was just like, you know, son, I'm really enjoying this. And I'm like, I'll bet you are, Papa.
I mean, your dad is kind of embodied... Like, Larry the Cable Guy is his spirit animal.
He's white-collar Larry the Cable Guy, because he works in an office and wears... Oh!
Whoa, I didn't know about that update.
God bless my father, because he was just like, you know something, son? You're trying to convince Blake to watch this, right? Yeah? Well, you know Blake wears a lot of plaid. You know who else wears a lot of plaid? Larry the motherfucking Cable Guy.
That's probably the soundest logic and the best argument I've heard so far for me to watch this movie.
As a plaid boy, you must support Larry.
If he wears a newsboy cap at any point in this movie, which I doubt he does, then just hit me up.
No, there is a great scene near the end where he goes to his Jewish stylist. That's not a joke. To get an undercover outfit. So, of course, Larry dresses up as like a Roman gladiator and all of that. But the fact that he has a Jewish stylist who just pops up out of nowhere, Blake Tanner. There are points in this movie where characters come back and you're like, I remember them from earlier. Not once is it mentioned that I got myself a Jewish stylist. This is him. Come on in, buddy.
Well, you know, maybe he doesn't see anything like that. Maybe Larry himself is just, he doesn't see, and he just doesn't qualify people by what they believe in.
Yeah. Now,
except it's Larry the Cable Guy, and that's a bullshit.
Now, going back to the YouTube thing, because last time we get closed off talking about the fact that apparently YouTube silenced the movie, like parts of the movie, to make sure that it wasn't playing They Call Me the Breeze.
Yes.
We made a shocking revelation today, and it was the fact that at the end they play a song by Montgomery Gentry called Get Her Done that is copyrighted and would get triggered by YouTube. And then we also realized that there's nowhere in the YouTube like algorithm that says we'll pot up the music or pot in correct, like, dialogue for people to still enjoy the video while taking your music out. Meaning that this was some fucking third-party interference of some guy going into Audacity for Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector, and then, like, vocal isolation.
I would love if this was the director's YouTube cut. He's like, well...
It was supposed to be a lot darker with less music. But no, this is
supposed to be the closest to his original vision.
No, this is the part that blew my mind, though, is the fact that they're, like, you know when they do vocal isolation, you can kind of hear that weird muffling that happens?
Yeah.
The sound effects are crystal clear during these moments on YouTube, meaning I'm thinking that this sick fuck has gone back and done his own Foley work for Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector. He was like, pot down the music. Hold on. Wait, is the fart coming up? Fart's coming up. Nailed it. Good work, Greg. We're gonna do this.
God, I did all the fart work myself.
I just love this one dude who's just like, Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector needs to get out to as many eyes as possible, and if that means me editing it down and providing my own Foley work, I'll do it.
God, this reminds me of, I once went to a sound studio that's based in, around Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the name of this movie for the life of me, but it was a like slasher film that was filmed in Alabama. And they had lost a lot of their original sound stuff, or a lot of it was so low quality that you could not, like, use that in a movie.
Yeah, this was the spooky room.
The spooky room. The sound engineers, so to fix that, they went through the whole fucking movie and added in their own sounds.
Nice.
That's what I imagine they were doing with this.
I like you added this anecdote for, like, God bless this 1 minute. I don't have to hear about Larry the Cable Guy and his dirt film.
And it made it fit.
Now, here's the third thing we discovered about the film. Because so far, we've learned about the mystery of the John Cena hand, the mystical YouTube man who brought this film back from the dead with his own Foley work.
Uh-huh.
And here's the third one. And this is a big one. We were watching the film, and it's showing Larry going to all of these different locations and health inspecting in a compilation, like, set to music, but of course there's no music, it's eerily silent. And one of them was a Twisty Treat, which is something I know exclusively as an Orlando, Florida ice cream location. The building is shaped like a mini ice cream cone, so I went, that's in fucking Florida. Quick Google search later, and I find out that all of Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector was filmed in my former home of Orlando and Kissimmee, Florida. That's cool.
It makes so much more sense now.
Wait, are you ready for the best part of this?
Are you about to tell me that you could see your fucking apartment or something? Oh my god! Oh my god!
It's not my apartment! I will start off with that. But halfway through the film, or probably early in the film, they go to a mall for reasons not really explained, other than Larry's new partner's like, I lost a contact, I have to go to LensCrafters. So that's literally, there are multiple lines thrown in, literally just so the film, you can watch as an actor walks up and drops Chekhov's gun. Like, there's not even any tact about it.
So what you're telling me is that you are remembering a scene that is from The Room and just kind of projecting it onto Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector.
No. Let me tell you, this mall they went to, though, was the mall that was directly across from my old apartment. I don't think, if you'll remember, if you go out on that exit, there's a 7-Eleven, and right behind it is the Plaza del Sol Mall, which is where they filmed parts of Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector.
I do remember that. Mostly because it was just named Plaza del Sol, and I enjoyed that name.
I lived right by Larry.
I don't know if Larry lived there, but yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, Blake, there's a treasure trove to dig into here. Because I know you're just like, it's not gonna be funny to talk about once I watch it, it's just gonna be me getting angry for a while. But there's really deep, in fact, tomorrow, if you don't watch it, I'm gonna have to bust out the big gun. And, the 10-minute timer is up, which means that this is the perfect cliffhanger for the next segment. For tomorrow, where I reveal my theory that in the Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector universe, Larry is God.
Oh boy.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
What day is this?
This is now day 3, and Blakey boy, let me tell you, it's starting to set in for me. Like, this is the first, because yesterday at least I got to, like, watch it with family and be like, oh, cool, it's time for some Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector. And then first day I was ecstatic because I'm starting this new adventure. Third day is where it finally just became, fuck this. This was the first day of existential dread of I have to do this a lot more.
You mean it's the first day you realized, this is 89 more minutes I'm not gonna get back.
Yeah. And well, not only that, also the fact that we have to record this after I get off a shift at my Black Friday retail experience was sandwiched with Cable Guy, because the opening before I went to work was watching Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector, and then I got to leave and go talk about it for 10 minutes.
Oh, that's good. How was your Black Friday?
Oh, it was horrid. And my favorite thing is the fact that Emily wants to see me tonight, and I'm like, well, hold on, baby. I'll be there in like an hour. I have to go home and talk about Larry the Cable Guy with my buddy for a few.
It helps. We can just spend this one just kind of deflating from Larry the Cable Guy.
No. Because this is also the day where I cracked the fucking code, Blake Tanner. But let me pull up the timer. And while I do this, I will tell you, this is probably the least I've paid attention, because half of it was watching it and the other half was doing intense research about the thesis I'm going to spit to you today.
Okay.
Because, of course, yesterday we did leave off, well, I guess it's not a cliffhanger because it's one solid episode that people are watching, but we did leave off with the cliffhanger that I've now realized that Larry is God. Also, we forgot to ask, did you watch the movie?
No.
No, of course you did.
No. Oh, child. No, baby, no.
Alright, let's start. So, watching the film, I've realized, like, there are numerous moments where Larry almost seems omnipotent and all-knowing. And that's where it started, was just this very funny, what if Larry, was God? And I started watching the film, and that's when I started getting into, like, religious research about the name Lawrence. And I did find Saint Lawrence, who's the patron saint of comedians, much like Daniel Whitney, also known as Larry the Cable Guy, patron saint of cooks, which really connects to the health inspector theme, patron saint of poor people. In the whole film, Larry is just like, these are good, hard-working people. I mean, they may have a bad thing here or there, but nothing you noticed. Just try to get their job done. And then this is the one where I think I'm going to try to turn you, because St. Lawrence was the patron saint of tanners. I mean, it's your boy. He's your patron saint. You have to watch him.
Why did they need a patron saint?
Yeah.
Well, then again, tanners are a horrid and wretched people, so...
Yes. Now, see, here's the thing. That also, there's a man in the opening scene who grabs his nuts as an old lady asks for orange juice, he's like, "Can I have fresh squeezed orange juice?" And my least favorite line of the film is, "Got your fresh squeeze right here, Grandma," as he grabs his nuts. That's played by a man named Michael Papa John, and I didn't realize Papa John was a surname. But
Michael Papa John.
That now leads to my thesis on why I don't think Larry is like Christian God, because obviously not. He might be Jewish God, because he does have that rabbi who gives him clothing. But then I really went deep, because I think Larry is the human embodiment of the Greek god Apollo.
Apollo is an interesting choice. Let's hear it.
Let's begin. He's god of health, so health inspector. He's, a lot of times, with Larry with the girl, like, Larry's like, "I was about to get some," and he's like, "On a first date? I don't think so." And he goes, "You didn't hear me play my song." And there's, and that's introduced, like, late into the movie, that Larry has a song, and then he never plays it. Like, he never plays the song, but it does connect to the fact that he's god of music and poetry.
It's actually Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy.
Yes! Well, here's the interesting one. Apollo can cause plagues. And after Michael Papa John grabs his nuts at an old lady, Larry, almost as if he's summoning them, taps his boot 4 times, and then a plague of roaches comes across the entire fucking restaurant and allowing Larry to shut it down. He is punishing the sinners through a plague of roaches, Blake Tanner. Another thing that was bugged me in the movie is, they're just like, they found rat droppings at this restaurant. And Larry's like, "Well, let's figure this out." And then he literally goes on a dissertation about Norway rats. Like, he's like, Rattus norvegius, the Norway rats. Look at it, literally it comes down to, look at this rat's asshole, it's clean, meaning it's a lab rat, and so therefore they were planted there. But, like, he knows so much about rats, which is when I then found the story of Apollo Smintheus, which was like I guess another name for him, and that was the god of mice who led plagues of mice on people. So obviously he knows about mice because he fucking caused plagues of them. Also, he and his sister Athena, they worked to clean up towns. One of the first lines Larry says to his new partner is, "Let's go clean up the town." So there's another.
So what you're telling me is that Larry the Cable Guy is this grim specter of what was once a great Grecian god, but when people stopped believing in him, he became a health inspector.
Well, I've got the theory, but I'm not there yet. Larry fucking loves moon pies. I've not figured it out yet, but like if you open his glove compartment, it's beautifully stacked moon pies. But that's when I realized that Apollo's sister, Artemis, was the god of the moon. It's a tribute to his sister, all the moon pies he eats.
They're also a delicious southern treat.
Yeah, that's right, buddy. And, like, a lot of the film, you're kind of wondering, because he's like, he can't use computers well. He instantly thinks that his partner is a boy. I think that's just because he's a god and he doesn't understand the new world. He don't get computers. He don't understand women dressing, like, traditionally like the person is dressed. Now, here's where it gets dark. And here's my fun theory. I think Apollo's being punished by the gods through being put as Larry the Cable Guy. Because there's a line where Larry goes, "Square jaw, good looks, and perfect health. I'm fantastic." I think when Larry looks in the mirror, he still sees Apollo. And when he goes home, he doesn't see this dirty, ratty place. He sees perfection. So I think that he's gone insane, and everyone else sees Larry, but he still sees Apollo.
It's funny that you mentioned this thesis because it reminds me picture perfect of a short play that was written in Birmingham recently that involved the Greek goddess Aphrodite being cursed by her sisters for being more beautiful than they, to live in a middle-aged accountant man from Alabama.
Named Larry the accountant guy.
It was... Oh, I wish I knew what the name was, but it was dangerously close to Larry.
Here's where... This is where I think Apollo played his hand a bit too early. Because there's a scene where they have all of the restaurants written up on the board, and Larry blindfolds himself, and he's just... It's an amazing monologue from Mr. Dan Whitney. He's just like, I will point to the next restaurant that will be hit. And he points to a random fucking restaurant. So you're like, oh, this won't work. They go to the restaurant, and that's the restaurant where they find the mayor allegedly poisoning food. Turns out that he's actually just getting the chef to put Hunt's mustard on it. But what I think is that Apollo's losing his edge. He's trying to predict the future, and he just sees the mayor and the poisoning conversation, and he's like, that's it. And then he points to it, blindfolded.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he knows that something's going on because the mayor's there, but he doesn't have the whole story.
Right. He's the god of prophecy, but his prophecy wasn't complete.
Mm-hmm. So he is not, of course, an omnipresent being.
No. And I think that's where the darkness sets in, because there is a... I'm not gonna lie, Larry's a good actor. He's a good actor, and once he realizes his mistake, after confronting the mayor, you see, like, darkness creep into his mind as he's just like, No, I don't feel dumb at all. No, it's that good, huh? Alright, and then he hangs up, and you have, like, this moment of, Larry, no!
Now, I would like to propose a counter theory.
Okay.
You've watched this movie 3 times now, and Larry the Cable Guy is not a Grecian deity. He is, in fact, a, one of the Cthulhu mythos. Slowly driving you into madness.
Yeah.
And driving you to come up with theories to try to stave off that madness.
Well, no. It got better, because, like, you also see, like, the symbols of him, like the wreath or the wolf, and they don't really come up a lot until one time Larry is, like, after this, he's upset, he goes back to his house, and if there was someone watching the film with me, I would have yelled, enhance, because if you enhanced, there was a tiny wolf statue in between the cans of PBR, which famously has a wreath at the bottom of it. Like a half-wreath thing. So, like, it all happened in one scene. But then I started doing some research, and I'm getting near the end, so...
Okay, there are tentacles coming out of you, though, buddy. Are you okay? You just started speaking in nonsense for a while. You mentioned Relay and Cthulhu Yahweh. Cthulhu Fatagan? What's going on over there?
But see... Here's the thing, Blake. Here's where... Quit being a dick. Here's where my problem was the fact that Apollo was not famously an alcoholic, womanizing dick like Larry is. So I looked it up. Oh, wait a minute. That was more Dionysus' thing. Turns out that there's a thing online, like, I can't remember who it was. Was it Nietzsche? Who talked about, like, these 2 different ways the world goes. One is, oh, there's the notes, but I'm fucking going through this. One was, like, towards Dionysus, where everything's, like, chaotic and, angry and upsetting and alcoholic and full of ribald. And then if you go too far that way, it'll start going back towards an Apollo world where it's very intelligent and strict and form fit, and that's kind of how the world goes back and forth. And I think Larry the Cable Guy is that, because there are scenes where he's very smart and not like uptight because he's still Larry the Cable Guy, but like he's kind of more smart and very good at speaking. And then there are scenes where he just says dumb idiot things that fall out of his mouth, and so I'm thinking he might be Dionysus and Apollo, and the gods are punishing them for, like, causing a fight or something and forcing them to interact by being in the same body. And the way that they swap who's in control is when Larry farts.
I really like how you've included the pendulum of order and chaos. Because now I'm gonna make a D&D character based off of him.
But no, like, legitimately, in the final scene, like, Larry has this beautiful idea of, well, she left her mic pack. If I follow her, I can get her to admit to the world her evil plan. That goes. Also, he's dressed as a Hasidic Jew this whole time. Don't know if I've brought that up before, but the end scene does involve Larry as a Hasidic Jew.
All right.
Including the line, "Nobody messes with Hasidic Larry." But he goes in, he's doing a very smart thing, and he's like, and everyone's like, Larry's done it. Then he farts, and then he starts getting dumb again. I think that's when Dionysus takes over. But Blake, it's now time for the question of the day. And
no, hold on. I've got to offer my feelings on this.
Okay, put your offer on the table.
I'm glad that you've taken a lot of time in putting into all of this. You've done a lot of thorough research. It's kind of scary because I do think you're falling into that well of madness. But I think it's also it's very constructive.
Yes.
Also, there is a very large amorphous Shoggoth behind you.
Yes, that's great.
Its tentacles are within your brain, and
Yes.
I can see it moving your eyes.
Don't worry, you're the only one who can see it because of your special classes.
Oh, I've also
Alright.
had to lose a lot of sanity points.
All right, what's your offer?
Okay, so like I said, I got an offer. We have 4 days left.
Yes.
There are 90 minutes in the film.
Yes.
Starting tomorrow, I am going to watch approximately 25 minutes of the film.
Wait! But I've already spoiled it for you.
Well,
So you know where it's going.
yep, but I'm going to do a deep dive into those first 25 minutes.
Wait, hold on. 25, that'd be 70. You're only going to spend 15 minutes on that last bit.
I said approximately.
Blake.
I'll find a good, stopping point within
Blake,
a couple
a
minutes.
wise man once told me, if you're not balls deep, you're not in it all. I need commitment. And look, I know before we started this...
Well, I am committing to 20-something minutes.
No. You gotta go all in or not. That's it. Because let me tell you something, my boy. I know when we fucking started this, we had the goof of, oh, Blake's never going to fucking watch this. I need you in the trenches with me.
I'm gonna start dipping my toe. I'm America in the beginnings of World War II. I'm just gonna start selling you weapons early on,
Okay.
and then I might when we have the Pearl Harbor moment where Larry the Cable Guy just farts on my dreams and ideals, then I go all in. But see, Scotty, what I'm offering you now. I think that's a dangerous line of thinking, your balls deep stuff, because I'm offering you a compromise. This great nation that we live in every day was built on compromise, damn it. And we should be able to meet our brothers in the middle. We should be able to say, if I say get her, you say done. Get her.
Done.
Get her.
Done.
And my getter is gonna be watching the first 20 minutes of Larry the Cable Guy.
2 idiots and a cable guy walk into a room. I just want to be in the room where it get her done. Room where it get her done.
Because I believe it, at this point, though, you have fallen so deeply into depraved chaos. And you need some order.
No. Here's what I want instead. And I'm going to give you a counter offer. It's now become Shark Tank. And we've gone way past our 10 minutes, but I don't care. This is about to become the longest episode of A Load of BS of all time.
Okay.
You watch the last 40 minutes of it tomorrow. The following day, you watch the middle 40 minutes. And then the last 6th day, you watch the first. And then the last day, you watch all of it through.
What day will be the last day?
It will be next Wednesday.
What time do you get home on Wednesday?
Oh, are you suggesting a
Yes.
double boy compromise?
I'm suggesting that I like your idea. I think the last day, when I watch it in full, we have to watch it together.
We have to watch it together.
Yeah.
I think I work, but I may call in sick, to be honest. I gotta watch Larry the Cable Guy with my best friend.
We gotta do this.
Yeah, dude, I fucking closed. Damn it.
Oh, shit.
Are you available before 4 o'clock to watch Larry the Cable Guy out?
Oh, I get off work right at 4. What time does your closing happen?
I close at 9, but we have to do Fight Boys.
Sounds like we're gonna have a horrible Thursday morning.
Okay, so Blake, you've agreed to do the reverse Larry. Which is my favorite sexual position.
Mm-hmm. You know how I like doing the reverse of everything.
The reverse Larry into a full Larry on Wednesday. But until then, would you like to go beg for money?
Yeah, do the thing.
So Blake Tanner, I'd like to talk to you today.
No.
I'd like to talk to you, Daddy, about a website. Not a man named Larry the Cable Guy. We've done that tonight. I'd like to talk to you about a website called Patreon.com, because that's a website where all these people can support us for our horrid efforts into the world of Larry the Cable Guy by donating a little bit of cashola our way. It's a monthly subscription for the price of a cup of coffee. You can.
Do you mean patreon.com/a-load-of-BS?
Oh, of course, patreon.com/a-load-of-BS. It's where you can support us. You can get access to our exclusive Discord where you can hang out with the BS boys and chat. We ask questions. And then, of course, in addition to that, you get shouted out on the show of your choice every single week, like the Patreon Saint Deborah Moore, like Scott Moore, like all of our favorites, all over at patreon.com/a-load-of-BS. But other than that, Blake, is there anywhere else if people want to support us they could do it?
Do you mean merch.a-load-of-purebs?
.com? Yes.
.com.
I know I'm asking you to do this very drunk after watching Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector, but I have faith in you.
Well, I will say that merch.a-load-of-purebs.com is the place where you can buy all of our sweet merchandise, and not just for the BS podcast. You can buy it for all of our other podcasts. You can buy it for Fight Boys. You can buy it for Opposite Attractions. All of us, we have different and varied merch. A lot of different shirts. We have some other stuff, like you can get the BS Boozy Sippy Cup.
We got cups.
We got cups. And every show that we do, including Fun Fiction, including this horrible garbage show that we're doing called The Load of BS, we have our own special shirts, and actually, we have our own Christmas holiday attire, don't we?
Wait, that's not Christmas, that's Harry Potter. Anyway, yes, that's right. Just for the month of December, we've got exclusive BS Network ugly Christmas sweaters, one for each show. There's a Load of BS one, a Fun Fiction one. Collect them all, ladies and gentlemen. They're all underneath the tab labeled Christmas at merch.a-load-of-purebs.com. And finally, I'd like to, you know what? I wish there was a novelization of this film, Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector.
Oh no.
And then someone could just read it to me. That way, on my way to work, I could just listen to it and don't have to worry about sitting down and watching it. But
there would be 2 pages devoted to the scene where Larry sits on a toilet. No.
And then he grasped the porcelain throne and sat down upon it. Of course, it would be read by Larry the Cable Guy. But if you want audiobooks like that, you can get it at audibletrial.com/BS Network. That's where you get a free 30-day trial of Audible. You get access to hundreds of thousands of audiobooks just for 30 days for free. Ladies and gentlemen, you can get my books, Queasel Corp Risen, BS versus the Gods, a book about me and Blake. So make sure to go over there. Check that out, ladies and gentlemen.
Internet.
So welcome to day 4 of the longest podcast we've ever recorded over the longest amount of days.
This is the most number of days we've talked to each other physically since probably we graduated university.
Yes, and
I want you to think about that. What you had to do to do this, and is it worth it?
I think it is. But I guess this time we don't need a timer because you did watch a specially selected bit of the film that I sent.
I did. I watched roughly about
Probably 40 minutes, roughly.
Just over 30.
And I will say, I said, hey, it's time to record, and you sit back the beautiful phrase, I'm pausing right after Wheelchair Guy gets nutshot by Donnie, the man who is Larry's self-described semi-retarded neighbor.
Yeah, okay. First, can I kind of just give you my reactions as they were, and how I feel about the movie so far?
Because I did something different. I ran an experiment today, so I want you to go first, and then I will get into my deep life change that I had today.
So, I didn't start taking notes early on, but I did notice that...
Well, hold on. Let's firstly say, you did not watch the beginning of the movie.
I did not. I came in straight in the middle, and you know what? I didn't need to watch the first half of the movie. I knew exactly where we were going because this is the most generic plot.
Yes.
Which is good because that means you can jump right in wherever you want.
Yes, it's like a swimming pool, baby. Just dive on in.
There were a couple of reactions that I had that surprised me because I thought, oh, this is actually kind of funny.
I thought, yeah, you're like, that's what would be described as a laugh, but that can't happen. I'm watching Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector.
I did have reactions, and the best damn thing was 5 minutes after that, after those, like, good 5 to 7 minutes that you dropped me right in on.
Yeah.
It was horrible again.
Now, can I just ask, my favorite line in the entire movie, I know I said one yesterday that was my favorite, but this one is my favorite line because of how Larry delivers it, and it's where he's trying to teach Butlin how to be a restaurant, like a lady at a restaurant taking orders, and I don't know why I just forgot the word waitress, and Larry is having to be in character. As a shitty patron of the restaurant, and he just goes, well, look at the little fellow we got here. just looks at her, hey there, little feller. Why don't you go get us a nice bottle of Boone's Farm? And he's talking to her like she's a puppy dog, and I love it every time.
I think I enjoyed your description of it more than I enjoyed the line.
Hey there, little feller, because he has such, like, childlike joy in his face when he says it.
I will say, now, my favorite line of what I watched so far was actually right after that when he said, the good Lord didn't come over on the Mayflower so you could sell us that.
Yeah, Larry has him. So, any other choice moments for it from you?
Singing like an autistic choir boy.
No, the full line is, he is singing like an autistic choir boy at the American Idol.
Yep.
A line that did get a good laugh from my dad when we watched it.
When the mayor is hosting the TV show.
Yes.
Which I have questions about. I understand the mayor hosting the TV show. I just still think it's a weird choice that the mayor's hosting a TV show. I feel like there's more important things a mayor would be doing.
Are you talking about the big, which TV show?
The cook-off thing? Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you meant that or the one where it's like him talking, like getting interviewed, and he looks like the devil himself.
No, there was that. And then also an honorable mention to, after Wheelchair Guy gets up and starts running, proving that he was not handicapped at all. And Larry's ward, his protege, I forget her name.
I'm so referring to Butlin as his ward from now on.
Larry's young ward says, "No, Larry, he was never disabled." Now, Butlin, why you gotta be such a dadgum atheist?
Yes.
We got us a miracle of the Lord. This man stood up like the promised son or some shit. I don't remember. I just
now
watched it 5 minutes
I did
ago.
include Kid Rock, right? Or is this right after Kid Rock?
This is after Kid Rock.
Oh shit! So tomorrow you're gonna get to enjoy.
Oh no, this is I did. Yeah, no, sorry, I didn't understand. I did see Kid Rock.
Oh, so you have seen the kid
Yes.
in action.
I did.
All right. Let's get into what I did because it's gonna be past our 10-minute mark.
Okay.
And I had a false start with what I wanted to do because, you know, Dark Side of the Moon syncs up perfectly with Wizard of Oz. And as I've experimented with in the past, Fall Out Boy's Save Rock and Roll fits with Twilight, and I'm like, that fits. I think Pink Floyd could have been watching Wizard of Oz and it influenced the way they produced that album. Maybe the makers of Twilight were big fans of Fall Out Boy, so I thought, what music was playing when Larry decided to make Larry the Cable Guy Health Man?
Did you go through every Kid Rock album?
I thought about Kid. I thought about the Kid, but no, instead I chose All the Right Reasons by Nickelback. Which, Blake, I swear to God, All the Right Reasons can be played exactly twice through this film because the final song is Rockstar, and it goes, hey, hey, I wanna be a rock star. Fades. Get her done! And then it loops back around when the credits start up. So yeah, I've listened to Nickelback, a full Nickelback album twice today, and I was not sure if it was gonna work or if this was gonna be a fun goof for the show until I got in my car to go to work, and next to me was a man whose apparently his stereo did not work, so he had a Bluetooth speaker up on his dashboard, and he started, let me find the exact song, he started blasting Far Away by Nickelback, which is like an emotional song from this album, while leaning over at his girlfriend and fucking screaming a duck call into her face.
That man, Larry the Cable Guy.
That was Larry the Cable Guy. Oh, fuck. So, the reason why I sent you the specific selection I did is because that's really where it started to sync up. Because, like, there were some good moments initially, like Follow You Home is like this just good butt rock anthem, and it's a funny juxtaposition between the opening of the film, which can be described as human Shrek, and then just butt rock in the background. A few farts did sync up with Nickelback music. One of my personal favorites was the first time Rockstar played, was also the time where Larry had the most violent shit of his entire life. So there's just loud fart noises playing over Nickelback, and I'm like, so this is what other people hear when they hear Nickelback.
Yes.
But right before what I sent you, this was... the song Photograph cranks on the same moment I sent you what you needed to watch today. And it's about teaching Butlin how to go undercover, and I swear to God, it's like a mini play within this movie of Butlin fucking up and then finding success in her undercover job, all of it set to Photograph. The whole thing syncs perfectly. It is the undercover theme for Butlin. Now, during the fucking Kid Rock and Larry about to have sex in his dream, it does play Animals, the song about fucking and loving in a car.
I do know that one. This is also the scene that we've talked about before where the deerhead asks Larry, "What are you, queer?"
Yes, and then he wakes up with a boner, and as it does, just a couple animals! Boner happens. And then, of course, the song ends as they bust in and accuse the mayor of poisoning restaurants, leading into Saving Me, which is a very emotional song about, like, I've lost control of my life, I need someone to save me. And that's literally playing as Larry's life falls apart because he falsely accused the mayor of poisoning people.
Yep.
Also, I forgot about this. This made me develop a secondary thought about Wheelchair Guy, and that's that he secretly loves Larry, and is is mad because Larry doesn't love him back because he assumes Larry is not gay, although I do have an idea that he is bi and used to date Big Shug.
What, you think him and Big Shug they kind of ended it amicably, but they still wanted to be just friends. Except Big Shug, he kind of had a lot of pent up stuff that he never really wanted to admit to Larry. So when Larry finally admits that he breached Big Shug's trust by thinking that Big Shug was the poisoner, is why Big Shug actually throws Larry out on his ass.
Exactly. Well, the reason why is because the end credits, it's not bloopers. They all seem to still be in character, and Shug and Larry are making jokes back and forth, and then Larry just goes, "You ever kiss a white boy before?" And then, like, leans in, and they both giggle, and I'm like, oh, that's just them reliving their old life. It's nice and flirty. But yeah, a lot of the songs, like, sync up to Wheelchair Guy looking at Larry while Nickelback is singing Romance, and I'm like, oh, Wheelchair Guy just wants to be with him.
I would also like to say, is this selection that you gave me, is this indicative of just how many racially insensitive and ethnically insensitive jokes there are in the movie?
Now, most of them, there's not that many that are bad. Now, I will say, there was one that was ethnically insensitive that made me laugh because of Larry's delivery of it.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about. It is the end of the undercover scene.
Yes.
Yep.
Where Butlin's getting taken down by the mayor, and then Larry, out of nowhere, like, I know you're thinking maybe earlier in the film it sets up that Larry will be dressed as, like, a very stereotypical, like, Middle Eastern person. No, it just happens. And then Larry just goes...
He does do that.
And I
half expected him to just go full Team America World Police and just yell out Durka 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 Durka.
Let me see. All my notes for saving me during that scene, by the way, are just, this is fucking good. This is so good. And at the end of Saving Me is Larry's darkest moment as the Larry Mobile is stolen away from him. And then Far Away, the song where my buddy in his duck call car was listening to, is all about, like, I love you, but you're so far away. And that's the scene where Larry sees that Jane, his girl, is on a date with the fucking mayor.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I made a joke while writing notes saying, I love you, as it shows Larry eating chicken is great, until I realized that Nickelback saying I love you is not him talking to the chicken, it's him talking to Big Shug. And they're actually they're apart now.
They're apart.
Yeah, this was a good 4 songs in a row, and then it was ended by Next Contestant, which I thought was going to break the streak, and this starts playing, like, right as Larry starts getting really drunk and Jane's trying to, cheer him back up, till I realized, like, Next Contestant's all about Nickelback getting jealous that their girlfriend is getting hit on by other guys, and this is a scene where Larry's getting jealous because the mayor's hitting on his girlfriend, and then at the end, he realizes that, fucking Michelli is the real poisoner, as they say, there's the next contestant. Next contestant is fucking Michelli.
Next contestant is Michelli. You heard it here first, folks.
Side of a Bullet didn't really sync up that well, because that is a song about Nickelback mourning the loss of another great rock god, and it doesn't fit that well.
Okay.
I will say, and this is off topic from Nickelback, a lot of this film has some very weird artistic shots.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's earlier in the film, you haven't seen it yet, but when they go to the mayor's office, it has, like, some weird Clockwork Orange vibes. But
now, I can't say that I noticed that because I watched the movie on YouTube in glorious 240p.
Oh, no. That's purposeful. That adds to the greatness of it.
Oh, I noticed the bits where you were talking about where the song isn't there.
Yes. It happens quite a lot in the selection I've sent you.
I was distracted and, like, reading something on my on my other monitor, and then I noticed, wait, has the video stopped? I'm not hearing anything anymore. No, Larry's still moving.
But you did notice where they added in, like, these quiet, like, very small, like, like, it's like an ASMR video in the middle of Larry the Cable Guy. So after Side of the Bullet, we get into If Everyone Cared, and I enjoyed this because it's really a dumb fucking song, because it's Nickelback saying, if everyone cared about everybody, no one would die. And I'm like, that's not how death works, Nickelback. It comes for us all. But I enjoy it because it's syncing up to basically the plot of the film, which is passion and heart versus, you know, this cold, calculating nature that Michelli has. She doesn't care about her food like Big Shug does.
No.
Like, when it started, I thought I wouldn't like this song with the scene, but it kind of gives it this slow, beautiful, artistic vibe. And as it ends, like, there's this boom at the end, and she puts the mic down as it booms. And then Someone That You're With cranked up, which is all a song about, like, I wanna be that someone that you're with. And at first I thought it was about Larry and Jane, or possibly Wheelchair Guy and Larry, but then I realized that it's actually Larry and Butlin. And you know, the whole plot of this is Larry didn't want a partner, now he wants to be that someone that Butlin's with as his partner. And unfortunately, at this point, Wheelchair Guy no longer wants to be the one that's with Larry because his sin has taken him so far away.
So far that he gets hit in the nuts with a soccer ball.
And then, of course, when she kicks the needle out of Michelli's hand, it syncs up perfectly with the chorus coming in. Yeah, Rockstar was a very emotional ending for this one, too, because it's Larry finally becoming a rock star. And it's showing the downfall of Wheelchair Guy, because he just wanted to be Larry's rock star, and it led him down this path of sin that leads to what I originally thought was a ridiculous ending, because for some reason Jane's mom shows up, and Donnie shows up.
Yeah, and they just all dunk on him.
But I think this might just be like Wheelchair Guy's mind, and it's the people who actually care about Larry taking down the man who is trying to destroy Larry.
Now, Larry does acknowledge that these people are there.
Oh my god. Blake, I just realized you missed the part of the film that I was actually going to use today to get you to watch it even further, and it is the fact that Larry gets stone cold throat punched by Biff Tannen. And it does sync up to, we all just want to be big rock stars, as the punch is landed.
Well, I guess we'll have to talk about that one tomorrow, because we've been going for almost 20 minutes.
Yeah, this may end up being a 2-part episode, my boy. So Blake, tomorrow you're going to be watching the first half of the film, correct?
Yeah, I'll probably just watch up until what I saw.
Okay.
At this point.
Are you going to skip past so you can see the Larry throat punch as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, buddy.
I'll do what I can.
I'll see you then. Apologies to everyone, but Nickelback blessed me today.
And cursed me.
Get her done, get her done, get her done, done, done.
So, Blake, guess what, buddy?
What's that?
Well, we've talked about this dumb garbage film for dirt people for so long that this is gonna have to become a 2-parter. I know! So, I guess that means, ladies and gentlemen, at home, make sure to tune in next week to part 2 of our review of Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector over 7 godforsaken days.
I'm sorry.